I am Hybrid, also known as Dimitri. Steve-O's not here, and this is REMO Hobby S-Max Jackass Edition. This is Jackass, and this is the RC car drive-thru. Oh shit, backflip. What's up guys, I'm building a micro brushless pyramid right here. This is gonna be my new addition. This is the REMO Hobby 1635. This is kind of like what they call the mini Sport Max. Now, if you know anything about RC history, and yes, I know a lot about it, you could tell by all these RCs I have right over here. These on top are the brand new WL toys. One is an extremely fast brushless. This is a stock brushed model. This is a Traxxas Mini E-Revo VXL. Right here on the bottom, this yellow one of my favorites, pretty rare, Duratrax Mini Quake running a brushless system. Incredibly fast, insane RC guys. Right here from Hobby King, we have the Nitro Circus, which is part of the Basher series. Also, this is running a brushless system. What does that mean to you? Yeah, I'm missing a top portion right here for an RC. This is gonna be an addition to it. A lot of people call these things the Mini X-Max. Now, in my opinion, they just don't know enough of their RC Nitro history. Now, since I am the Nitro RC guru, but yes, once in a while, I like to enjoy some nice brushless, easy running. You know, when my Nitros are giving me a hard time getting tuned. So, the Sport Max was part of the Traxxas lineup over 15 years ago. It was actually the base model of the Traxxas T-Max. The Sport Max was kind of like a stadium truck with two-wheel drive, no reverse, and just one gear in its first couple years run. Eventually, it did get a two-speed transmission. So guys, this is not the Mini X-Max in my opinion. It might look like it, but if you know your history, this is the Mini Sport Max, which I've always wanted one of those, and I'm actually looking for one of those on eBay. Yes, the RC Sailors, which is a great YouTube channel, they do a lot of planes and drones and stuff like that. I think they got in trouble from Traxxas due to referring to this as the Mini X-Max. I'm not going to be doing that. I'm going to refer to this as the Mini Sport Max because that in fact is what a real Nitro guru would do. The past couple years, the WL toys have really been dominating the entry-level brushed categories for 1/16 scale trucks that are under $100. Now this, in my opinion, is probably going to be the new king of this segment. Not only is this brushless, it is still under $100. It has all of the upgrades you want on it. In my opinion, this is going to be dominating this segment right here. The reason is this is more industry standard. This has basic 12mm hex hubs. This is more of a hobby grade RC. Now, don't get me wrong, these are cool. I've done a lot of videos on these. You can't go wrong with these. But for the price, this is brushless, this is brushed. Now, yes, this has a smaller brushless motor, but it's still brushless. It could give you that higher PM pretty much instantly whenever you want, and the brushless systems themselves are just more efficient. The battery in a brushed 540 can size motor doesn't last long at all. You're talking like at a max about a 10-minute operating time. This is automatically going to be longer just because it's brushless. They are known to be a lot more efficient because yes, there's no actual brushes contacting the armature when it's spinning. Basically just a magnetic field being applied across the positive and negative poles of the motor. Let's take a look at some of the box art. Now, if you're trying to get one of these, make sure you get the brushless model. There are a lot of these that look almost exactly the same. You will not be able to tell, so click the link in my description to this video. It's going to take you to the brushless model. In fact, the regular brushed model is only about $10 or so cheaper than this. It is really not worth it. This is really what you want to get. The reason I got this one is because I'm building a brushless empire of mini RC vehicles. It's telling us that it has metal sintered gears. All of these parts right here, the spur gear, the diff gear, the metal hex hardware, the drive axle dog bones, ball bearings, the differential, all metal. So really nice to see at this price point. On the back, you just have a little more description and a little bit better detail. So as you could tell, this one right here is the brushed version in the picture. Try your best not to get one with this heatsink. You want the one with the blue motor, exactly as I have here in this picture. This is obviously the only way to tell this is going to be a brushless just by looking at the picture. Let's open it up. Here it is. Nothing else in the box. Let's get rid of that. we have our instruction manual in a nice plastic bag. It seems to be packaged extremely well. I don't notice any damage at all. The tires on first impression are very soft. In fact, I think there's some kind of foam material over there. I'm not quite sure, but they are glued well. I can't even remove this from the rim. This is going to be a first for a model of this level. Usually they're just air-filled pneumatic tires, so this is going to be interesting to see. Let's take out the Peacemaker, do a little snip right here, right? Yep, snip it out. There we go. We got some tools, basic tools right here, some extra body clips. Let's take a quick look at the remote. It's a really nice, substantial, large size 2.4 gigahertz unit with a lot of adjustability. Now, some of the criticism for RCs in this price range is the fact that the remotes usually lack a lot of functionality. Now, if you open up this top flip cover, you have 4 knobs. The throttle dual rate and steering dual rate is usually not found in RCs of this price point. Pretty nice to see. On top here, you have a button that looks like it's going to control the light input and output functionality if you have a light module in the ESC itself. Now, this has a really cool function. Remotes used to do this years ago, but lately they just don't. You know, today when you buy a Spectrum, it's basically a plastic piece of crap. Not much different than this. There's a little toggle thing right here. If you press it, you could slide the steering wheel to the opposite side of the remote. So if you're a lefty, you got absolutely no problem. Now, I think the entire Earth population, the statistical rate of lefties is about 5%, somewhere around there. So if you're a lefty, let me know if you have problems RCing. Maybe this is one of the things keeping you from RCing. And this thing is going to change it, right? I'm a righty, so we'll just keep it at its normal position. But guys, the amount of engineering going into doing this, they're basically duplicating the foam steering wheel setup on each freaking side. And you know, when I turn this one doesn't turn, so pretty freaking genius. Time to remove the body. The first thing I noticed, and I really like these body pins, they are large. Normally these things have extremely tiny, disgusting looking body pins that you need like pliers or super strong baby girl hands to remove the body clips. In this case, they are nice. Look at that. They're bent. They're normal. I can remove them no problem. Put them in no problem. Pretty nice touch right off the bat. Okay, let's see what it's got under the body. There we go. Ba-boom! Yeah, we got brushless power. You could already tell the first obvious thing about this is the aluminum upper deck. This is a really, really important upgrade. The reason is these have, you know, pretty typical lightweight tub plastic style chassis. They flex a lot. Now, if you've ever had a WL Toys, you know that these things flex left to right like no problem. This, honestly, is extremely minimal flex. I'm pretty much moving this pretty hard right now, you know, side to side, and I see very minimal flex. And this piece of aluminum here is not like a joke. It's actually pretty thick and wide. It seems to be attached pretty well to the whole rear here and pretty normal to the whole front. The chassis itself, you know, it's pretty straightforward. It's a basic type of layout. You have a small brushless motor. Now, what's great is these use standard connections. So you could upgrade this and put in, you know, a 5,000-6,000 kV motor, you'll be good. You could run a 3S battery here, you'll be good. Here is our combination 2-in-1 ESC. These little ports here that are white are your light ports. So you could easily just put in some lights, you know, route them wherever the hell you want. You'll be good to go. Drivetrain wise, this has metal drive cups, of course, and the out drives are metal. All the diff gears are metal. You have a metal center drive shaft, really nice. The links on top, the suspension links, are fixed. I personally like when they're fixed. I don't care at all. I'm never going to be adjusting the camber, caster, toe in, toe out. I like it the way it is. This is basically a foolproof method of how to not get your suspension geometry wrong. It already comes with a Lipo battery. I think it's actually a lithium ion, so it has these two separate cells. Lithium polymer is a little bit different, but a lithium ion is basically just two kind of like these batteries, these basic cells. They all produce the same amount of volts. It doesn't matter. You could put in any battery you want here as long as it fits. The main thing, let me make sure you guys understand, the main thing about this is that you have these Dean's style connectors. These are industry standard connectors, meaning you could pretty much put in any Lipo battery you want in here without any soldering. A lot of these lower versions of RCs have their own generic connectors. This is what I wanted to see, and honestly guys, I only buy RCs that have the Dean style connector. Why? Because they're easy to solder, they're cheap, and you could stick in anything that is basically hobby grade into this chassis. Here is a size comparison with the WL toys all the way on the left, this REMO Hobby Sport Max in the middle, and the Traxxas Mini E-Revo VXL. Now this is about 300 bucks. This is less than 100 bucks. This is about 80 bucks. You can clearly tell that the REMO Hobby model is in the middle of these two. The wheels are actually exactly the same height, just a little bit narrower on the REMO Hobby model. But it is not bad at all. It's still a little bit bigger than the WL toys here on the left. I'm using my basic cheap budget hobby grade charger. Why? Because I can, since this thing has basic Dean style connectors. Like I said before, very useful in the future, especially if you're gonna go anywhere with this hobby. I'm charging it at a little bit less than 2 amps. It is almost 8.4 volts right over here. And let's check out what the cell volts are. So we are at 4.2 volts. Really good. These batteries are really well balanced. I always like to see that. Whenever your cell volts are really close by like that or the same, that means the battery should generally last a while and one cell should not discharge any faster than the other. I got the battery in the car fully charged, a couple AA's and a remote, 4 to be exact, right? Now, I just want to point out what's really cool about this, and it seems like it's common, but the Velcro strip. Not only does it do a great job of keeping the battery in place, I legit cannot even move it right now with my fingers. But you see the way I have the wires routed straight through it? This is going to keep our wires secure and out of harm's way, because a lot of times these wires are literally so close to the tire. Now, in this case, there's a good amount of clearance because I have them routed this way, but usually these tires could deflect so much while driving and moving and ballooning that it could just rub through your wire. You don't want that to happen. This thing has waterproof electronics, so you'll have no problem driving this anywhere the hell you want. Okay, it's on right now. Let's check out the steering. Moment of truth. Holy moly, look at how fast the steering is. I mean, I know micro steering servos are quick, but this is like, look at that, not bad. Even if I put it on the ground right here, this is fast. Let me put some pressure on top. Still steering pretty good. Look at that, I'm pressing down the suspension like halfway, and it's still steering. Man, not bad at all. Definitely don't need a steering upgrade. By the way, you hear this kind of cogging noise as I roll it back and forth. That is a good sign, and we already know that this has metal gears. This is how metal gears always sound. Really nice free roll, by the way. There's no binding, nothing weird going on. Let me see how smooth the diffs are. Yeah, not bad at all. A lot of times the diffs in these things are just so freaking tight that when you're trying to turn, it doesn't go anywhere you want. Let's see. Yeah, not bad at all. This did not come with this in the box. It just wouldn't fit. Just because this is a baby Sport Max from REMO Hobby doesn't mean that the Smart 4 is a baby car. It is a great full-size 2-seater vehicle manufactured by Mercedes-Benz. Let's see how this thing runs. This is Jackass and this is the RC car drive-thru. Let's see how steep it can go, Jackass edition. Man, did you see that? It crawled like a freaking goat. This thing should be called the Sport Max Goat Edition. Time now for some top speed runs. Let's see what it looks like. Whoa, this thing is pretty quick. Let's make our way back. There you go, full throttle. Full throttle. No signal loss of any kind. Great 2.4 gigahertz radio. Oh shit, backflip.